I've had so many people message me on how I make that remix that it's driving me insane. By the way, the support on that video has been crazy. Thank you guys so much. Anyways, today I'm going to show you how I made that remix and discussing a plugin that doesn't get talked about enough when discussing on how to make music like Porter Robinson. SliceX is a sampler. While other samplers could be used to make stuff like this, every other sampler I've used don't seem to have the same robust feature set as SliceX. The only other plugin I've used that somewhat compares to SliceX is Ableton's sampler, though there are some other major differences, so keep that in mind. SliceX is interesting to use to make botanica tracks, pedalcore, and IDM beats. Some stuff you could do in SliceX is vocal chops, sample chopping, granular synthesis, and much more. I've been using this tool for many years, and I have a pretty good understanding of what to do. Let's start from the beginning and take you step by step and show you how to use SliceX. Alright, I'm just going to start and take you step by step and show you how I do this. So this is the sample we're going to work with right now. It is from another song of mine that I'm working on with another person right now. But here we go.
Night sky, no sight, I bloom under moonlight.
Really cool thing about FL Studio is be able to just go into the sample viewer and just right click on the audio sample and we can just open it right up onto SliceX. So we have it here. One of the first things I do when I open up the plugin is I turn off this feature called auto dump. So whenever we make slices and stuff, this would actually just dump all the MIDI data from the slices in order onto your pattern. But we don't need that, so just turn that off. And so when we start chopping it up with some auto slicing features, then it won't mess up what we have done already. So one of the first things I do is just go open to the slice detection tab and just go auto slice. There's a couple features here. Some of them are time based, some of them are just transient based, and there's some slightly different detecting algorithms. And there's also a way to detect beats, as well as pitch regions. And these can be really useful for creating very specific melodies, but we don't need to really mess with this right now. We're just going to use the stock mediums auto slicing. Okay, we have some slices. Get rid of this first marker here. This is just silence here. And we have some alright. Some really nice sounds, really nice cool stuff. Another thing that I do is I like to normalize each of these samples into thing. So there's a normalize all regions, as well as normalize itself. So it normalizes the sample entirely, and as well as normalize each of the regions differently so they're all the same volume. Another thing to do is declick. Declicking will stop little, pops and clicking stuff at the beginning and end of regions. So this is just a little bit of a cleanup step. And the declick out, declick in, declick out here. And that's pretty much what we need to do. There's some other things we will mess with here in a minute, but let's just go to the piano roll. So we have about 60 samples to chop up and use. Let's just do here. To make it sound good, I would just do trial and error and just go through a loop region and get it to a variation that I like. So I'm going to quickly just start chopping up stuff and just start writing. Alright, so here's what I came up with. So another thing that I did is I went into SliceX and I just pitched it up 5 semitones. This just gets more character to it and, you know, just more fun. So another thing you can do is go in here and go to the colors, and you were able to have a reverse track as well. So that's always interesting to have. Actually, I really like that. Another thing you do is you're able to actually change the note panning. But I want to show you another way that I like to use instead of using the note panning. And that's going to be inside SliceX. So some other settings we could mess around with is the envelopes of the sound. And so we enable this envelope here. Get more plucky. Longer. And increase the decay. We can also get rid of some of those more harsher sibilants going on by adding a little bit of a ramp, some more like attack. Some other things we could play around with is the panning, like I was saying earlier, but we can randomize the pan. So I do this a lot, and you just drag down the first part and the last part. So this would go, check out over here. There is a number that you can look at. So we can go about 40% pan to the left, and we can go 40% pan to the right. This just adds subtle variations, so your sound isn't so static. It just more moves in the stereo field a little more. It was a little much. Maybe we're down to 30. Yep, that sounds good. Some other things we could play with is a filter. And we can do a envelope cutoff on that. I quite like the dry sound without the filter, so I'm not going to keep it on. And we have like a master pitch as well. Yep, that's always cool. There's also some other settings we could play around with in the behind the scenes settings of FL Studio. We could actually play around with portamento. That's pretty cool, but I still like the dry signal more on that. Another thing we could play with is the MIDI delay. So this is like a delay just for MIDI, and we could set it down to delay time of 1. The main thing, the star of the show here, is the pitch here, and we just increase the pitch and increase the feedback, have the right amount of echoes, and here we go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a little chaotic for my taste, but yeah, that's pretty much what I can show you here. That is pretty much it. To make a granular synth kind of style effect, I would actually, let's just make a new pattern, and let's just quickly very quickly just make a playhead. So we're just selecting a bunch of samples, and that's what that sounds like, but we add the arpeggiator onto random. Bring that time down. Sometimes it's good to go in here and adjust the project info and increase the time base, just smooth out the little transitions a little bit. But so that's always fun to play with, and you can just use this little MIDI thing just as your playhead for granular synths. So yeah. Alright, I'm going to quickly build up a project real quick and just put it together, and I'm going to show you what you can do with like sample chopping and some other stuff. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I created a little piano loop here. And it's kind of boring, but that's kind of the point here. But if we just quickly render this out, and we can edit it up. Okay. As you can see, it did just drop all the samples down. That's why we turn it off. So when we're editing, it does not mess with anything. Put it on a new loop, or a new pattern. And I kind of don't like how it's chopping it up a little bit, like this one. I might just go through here and curate some of these. Okay, I have it pretty much curated. Oh no, just get to this one too. Okay. And I think that's good enough. We go ahead and do what we did earlier, just normalize all regions. Oh, I'm on the wrong deck. Whoops. Normalize all regions. Normalize. Click. Click, click, click out. And just quantize that. Okay. Let's see how this sounds in context, and we might adjust it. That's pretty much a vibe. Anyways, I was gonna do a breakdown of the remix in this video, but I figured this video is already long enough, so I'm just gonna do a separate video later on, and just going down more detail onto that remix and stuff, showing you more stuff that you could do for like sample chopping and stuff. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.